Alright, Shalom. Call Halal Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahabashai Ba'Hashem Rakakwadash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles, a great millstone. Peace and blessing to all the Akim that are preaching and teaching this word with 100% truth and sincerity. And unto the men, women, and children that are listening and learning. And unto the Ba'ath Adawadah, the elect house of David that is scattered abroad, I give you my utmost and sincere salutations. Alright, now this lesson is going to be entitled Division. So, we're going to go into that word, division. And I'm using my other phone. This is the word division. All right. And it says act of separating into parts, or it says here, let me get to the, it says, okay, give me a second. So basically it means to separate, discord that splits a group, variance, so what we're going to get into it is the act of dividing or partitioning, separation by the creation of a boundary that divides or keeps apart. Okay? So, Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahabashai, excuse me, said he's going to bring division. All right, so we're going to go to the book of Luke. This is the 12th chapter. It's going to be verse 51. And it says here, Suppose ye that I am come to give peace on earth? I tell you nay, but rather division. Verse 2, For from henceforth there shall be 5 in one household, 5 in one house divided, 3 against 2 and 2 against 3. Verse 53, The father shall be divided against the son, and the son against the father, the mother against the daughter, and the daughter against the mother-in-law against her daughter-in-law, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. Okay? So there's going to be a separation. Okay? In these hard times to come, people are going to be at variance. Again, let's look at the word variance. Okay? The word variance. A fact of undergoing change, whether it be a change, an alteration, doubt, hesitation, a state of disagreement. Okay. So, a difference between conflicting facts or claims or opinions. So, when things get really bad out here, people are going to be against one another. Family, friends, acquaintances, you gotta be mindful of the times that we're coming into, because there's going to come a time where you're going to have to separate yourself and look after you. And people say, oh, you're just being selfish. No. I'm doing what, you're just looking after you, because we're in that time where anything could happen. This is Mark, excuse me. This is the book of Mark, chapter 3, verse 24. And it says, And if a kingdom be divided against itself, the kingdom cannot stand. You heard that old saying, united we stand, divided we fall. All right. Ever since Trump's been in office, he's caused, people say that he's done good for the country, getting the economy going, this and that, but, and then you got Biden here. Both of them are devils, regardless. But ever since then, starting with Trump and then Biden, there's been nothing but a division amongst the people. You know, these people that were closet racist, they're now out in the open about it. All right, verse 25. And it says, and if a house be divided against itself, the house cannot stand. 26. And if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, how he cannot stand but hath an end. All right, so Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, right now, even his own people are rising up against him, against the governments of this, the powers of this world, the people that are in control. So these Edomites are going to be fighting amongst each other, as well as everybody else. It's going to be a complete mess, and it's ultimately funny and beautiful that Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai is using this devil to take himself out. I find that to be funny. All right, this is going to be Romans. It's going to be chapter 16. Chapter 16, verse 17. And it says, now I beseech you, brethren, mark them which cause divisions and offenses, contrary to the doctrine which ye have learned, and avoid them. So, being in the truth, we have to keep an eye on those who try to cause division amongst our ranks and are going off and causing offenses. And what they do is contrary to the scriptures. We have to mark them and avoid them, cut them off. That's part of that's part of not letting the rest of the flock take heed to seducing spirits and falsehoods. It's when you see something wrong or if someone's going off, you got to correct them right away. So when we're in this thing, we are to be on one accord, being on the same page here. There's not to be any differences or disagreements or any arguments or separations, because if that happens, then everything's just going to fall apart. Verse 18, for they that are such serve not our Lord Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, but their own belly, and by good words and fair speeches deceive the hearts of the simple. So they don't serve Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, those who cause division and offenses, but their own belly. They seek their own vain glory, and by good words and fair speeches, by those smooth words, those words that, capture somebody's attention, gets people to listen, deceive the hearts of the simple, deceive the hearts of, the minds of those who don't know any better. Okay? All right, next is going to be 1 Timothy. Let me get there. This is 1 Timothy chapter 4. 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 1. And it said, now the Spirit speaketh expressly that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils, speaking lies and hypocrisy, having their conscience seared with a hot iron. All right? Some of us are not, some of us are going to depart from the true 100% doctrine of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. And they're going to give heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils, worldly, manly philosophies, and falling after false idols, false gods, speaking lies and hypocrisy, being double-minded, having their conscience seared with a hot iron, meaning, those who are stuck in their ways, no matter how much you try to drive the truth into their skull, it's just not going to get through. All right, now we're going back to the book of Luke. This is going to be Luke chapter 21. Luke 21 and 16. And it says, and ye shall be betrayed by both parents and brethren and kinsfolk and friends, and some of you shall they cause to be put to death. So in these latter days, as cold-hearted as it may seem, but just be prepared in that day for your family members to turn against you whenever that time comes. And if it comes, just be prepared for it. Because you're going to do what you got to do. And they're going to do what they got to do. Trust me, when you back people into a corner, they say that, never corner a frightened animal, or never corner a frightened animal or whatnot. I can't remember the saying, but when people get desperate, they're you don't know what they're gonna do or what they're thinking. Verse 17, and ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake. So the prophets are going to be hated for the Lord's name's sake. People. There was a video by Blood Covenant where he was on his video. He showed a clip of a couple of guys on their TV show making fun of prophecy and how they're saying, how the end of the world. When is the end of the world? This and that. And if the end of the world is here, just live up your life or whatever. And they're, as prophets, we're seen as fools. And, it's gotten to the point in that clip he was showing, they now call us maniacs for what we believe in and for what we do. A maniac. In fact, I'm going to look up that word real quick. Maniac. So, we are labeled as maniacs for what we believe in. A maniac. It says an insane person, wildly disordered, a person who has an obsession with or excessive enthusiasm for something. So we're pretty much going to be labeled insane. So that just goes to show you the times that we're coming in. Okay, this is going to be 1 Corinthians. 1 Corinthians chapter 1. Starting at chapter 1, verse 10. And it says, now I beseech you, brethren, by the name of our Lord Yahushua HaMashiach, that ye all speak the same thing, that there be no divisions among you, but that ye be perfectly joined together in the same mind and in the same judgment. Okay? The prophets are supposed to be on one accord, meaning being on the same page, being like-minded. Meaning that we're supposed to be in agreement with one another. There's not to be no disagreements, no arguments, no going off. We all have to be on the same page. That's how you have a perfect order, by everybody being on the same page. Okay? And doing what is required and ordered. That's how it's. You may say that's just being a robot, but hey, if I have to be a robot for the Lord, a righteous robot, sign me up. I don't care what these people say or think or feel. Okay? Next is going to be 2nd Esdras, which is in the Apocrypha. 2nd Esdras, chapter 15. Oop. 2nd Esdras, chapter 15, verse 16. And it says, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So, you already got France rising up against, protesting, rising up against their government. And same thing with all these other countries, Sri Lanka, Kazakhstan. I can name I can't name a few others off the back of my head, but Yeah, so people are not going to listen to the people in charge anymore. They're going to take matters into their own hands. They're going to say, fuck the government. We're going to do this our way, whichever way that may be. And apparently we see it with violence. Verse 17, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. So people are going to be looking for a way to escape, get away from the danger, get away from all the chaos. But, you know, when martial law kicks in, they'll try to escape to another city. But these troops, when they come in, they're going to have these checkpoints. You're not going to be able to go anywhere. You're going to have to just stay right where you are and just deal with it. And hopefully you don't die. Verse 18, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Okay? Because the people of this society, especially here in America, very, very prideful. Prideful as all hell. The city shall be troubled, which means there's going to be a lot of chaos going on. The houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. So a lot of destruction is coming, and even men are going to be afraid. So how much more is a woman going to be afraid? And a woman is the weaker vessel. Verse 19, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. So survival of the fittest, basically. People are not going to give a damn about your well-being or about you in general or your family or friends. They're just going to take what they can get, and if you get in the way, they'll kill you, or they'll just kill you just cause. Because when the famine hits, man, you know how people are when they get hungry, they get cranky. Well, once that famine comes, it's going to be more than just being cranky. It's going to be pissed off, violent. All right, I'm going to go to the book of Jeremiah. This is going to be Jeremiah chapter 30. Jeremiah 30 and verse 6. Jeremiah 30 and 6. Ask ye now, and see whether a man doeth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. So, in that time, when shit hits the fan, even men are going to be scared out of their minds, soiling their underwear. Men are going to be terrified. So how much more a woman? Once again. And a woman's going to be looking for a man in that day to protect her. More specifically, a man of the Lord. And you Israelite women, you so-called black women, so-called Hispanic women, and so-called Native American women. That time's coming. And if you're with a man of the Lord right now, you better hold on to him and be humble and follow his lead. But if you left him because you didn't want to follow order and do your own thing, I'm going to tell you right here, right now, you're going to regret it. You just may end up getting snatched up by some other men, and I'm not even going to go into it. But verse 7, it says, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Jacob's trouble. And he shall be saved out of it. The elect, starting with the 144,000, the 12,000 men from each tribe, and the multitude that follows. And Jacob's trouble is going to be that great tribulation, a time like never before. Verse 8, it says, for it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord of hosts, that I will break his yoke from off thy neck, and will burst thy bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him. So Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai is going to release us from this captivity under the rule of Esau Edom. And we will no longer serve him. We'll be with our power and serving our power like we're supposed to be doing. Then it's going to be 100% perfectly. Esau Edom will no longer have that grip over us. All right. So, hope that this was, edifying and hopefully an eye-opener, because these divisions are coming. I mean, they're already here, but they're just gradually just building up and getting worse and worse. And once it intensifies to that point, talking about race wars, gang wars, all across the board. Battle of the sexes, men against women, women against men. But, even in that day, women are going to be terrified. There's really not going to be a battle of sex. Women are just going to be looking for someone to save them. So, get your mind right. Get into these scripts and meditate upon them. So with that, I'm going to give all the honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakak Kodash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and blessing to all the Akim that are preaching and teaching this word with 100% truth and sincerity. And unto the men, women, and children that are listening and learning. And unto the Bayath Adabadah, the elect house of David that is scattered abroad, I give you my utmost and sincere salutations. See you in the next lesson, Lord willing. Kwam Yasharala, Wa Abababal, Shalom, Barakatam.